Welcome back, everybody. It's the CORSAIR DreamHack Masters Dallas, and we are in Texas. Whether you knew where Dallas was or not, it's a scorching 87 degrees Fahrenheit outside. That's 31 Celsius for the rest of the world. For some reason, my country insists on using that. And you know what? I was growing up on the same thing, so I don't mind. But I've got an even more burner of a matchup on my hands right now. FaZe versus G2 here, our second quarterfinal, and one of these teams are going to be moving along in the bracket. That's right, one of these teams will be going on into the semis to play against the Finnish esports organization INT from Finland. My name is Trace. Welcome back, everybody. We've had a little bit of an extended break, hopefully some time for you to gather your thoughts and perhaps even get the bowl of cereal of your choice, because in the meantime, we've already had Chipotle, our burritos are on our bellies, and we're ready to get this going. I've got Chad Birchill and Maniac, Matthew Maniac here to talk us through what will be the rest of the day.
I like that.
Yeah, I like it too. I think it's a nice ring to it. Matthew, Maniac.
Well, it's kind of, if you kind of like throw them around together, it kind of works either way.
Why not? Just jumble it all into one little pot. But before we get talking, Trace, about too much about the game, you know that little tidbit I threw at us before about G2? And then went and did a little bit more digging. You know how they won the Masters? They won in Malmo, and they beat North.
Right.
And they won Season 5 of Pro League, and they also beat North. So North probably won't be in the final. So maybe we get that whole spiel that I was doing about G2 winning in Dallas and at a Masters out the window because they're not playing North. That's could be the caveat.
That was the only reason
situation.
they could win the event, like playing North in final.
Or Danish teams.
There's none then. That's
exactly.
It.
So they can't win.
Yeah.
We don't even have to play the game.
So, yeah, at this point, we might as well just call it whatever it is. Call it what you will. Of course, I'm going to call it as a thank you to all the people that have, in fact, made this possible. AT&T, Chipotle, CORSAIR, CS.Money, Esports Management, and Monster Gaming. And now we can really get the show underway here in Dallas, Texas. Perhaps we start in bringing everyone up to speed as to what just happened. We just witnessed our first quarterfinal, and it was just a bit of a bloodbath.
Yeah, well, the thing about Furia is that every step of this tournament, I'm asking myself, where are the limits? Surely this game, this is where they're going to find, they're going to be a little bit limited. But no, they take on Vitality 2-0. Obviously, I had an eye on that game, and the amount of mechanical skill, I think that's the most impressive to me. Their ability to eliminate 2 or 3 opponents each player.
Yeah, their multi-kills, especially on their T sides, is one of their best statistics in the entire tournament. And I obviously predicted against them. I went for Vitality. Now, I want to give a bit of reasoning for that one right there. The reason that I felt that it was going to stop here was the teams that they went up against, Fnatic, NRG, those are teams who I, actually thought they could beat because they have a bit of a quirky system. They play quite aggressive CS, so they don't allow too many multi-frag potential and heads-up duel at 1v1 situations, which both Fnatic and NRG love to find. They take the fight to them, so I figured that could rattle teams like that, and they don't have the foundation. I thought Vitality would have more of a base, but right here we've seen that they don't have the problem-solving ability in the late to mid rounds like maybe a team like ENCE would have.
The logical choice in that last series for a victor would have been Vitality. That's the logical choice. Now, the reality is it wasn't them. We saw why, and there's a couple fingers pointing in either direction, but ultimately taking that L will be something that I don't think they can hold their heads too far down. They've had a pretty good run here in the States so far.
No, I think listening to Nathan after, especially their victory at Summit, they were aware that that victory did not mean that they had to win every other event after that. They took it with, I think, some distance, which is sane and healthy. So I just hope that they keep their heads high and they keep on working, because after all, this whole thing with Alex being the in-game leader is quite new. Yes, they had astonishing result in Summit, but that is still that's recent for them. So give them some time, use that as an experience. Yes, it is frustrating, but keep on working. I think they have a good thing going on.
Maniac, what's your take on the current state of, say, like the French CS scene? Because they're back in the conversation. It's not so much as to what puzzle pieces we're going to move around to make our puzzle. It's more so now, where are they?
Listen, I think we have finally gone through the dark period. Winter is coming, it has come and it's gone. Now
So
it's a little bit summer, it's spring.
King.
Say spring, okay, not summer, it's spring for French CS. I think we had new blood coming in. We think about G2 and Vitality, Alex, obviously, Amanek, Lucky, Jax, all these players. So finally the veteran have opened the doors, opened the gates. There is fresh blood, there is some will. And I think some also very veteran players are starting to play better. We've seen Shux and Kenny, we've seen NBK, obviously. So, I think French CS is in a good place.
Well, you want to talk about fresh stuff? I got a fresh matchup on my hands. So we're going to start to focus on that a little bit now. With the likes of FaZe and G2 going head-to-head in a best-of-3. Right off the bat, there are some iconic names in both sides of the server right here. So I guess all things considered, this could be a slugfest.
I think, obviously the star potential when you look at FaZe is insane. You have Neo, arguably one of the, it's him and Forest, best Counter-Strike 1.6 players of all time. You got Olaf at one point, best player in CSGO at one point in time. You could say the same, obviously, for Nico. You go down the list, Guardian, one of the best AWPers of all time. And you flick onto the other side of things, where you've got Shox, one of the best Source players. The list could go on in terms of achievements. Kenny, one of the best AWP players.
Yeah.
So now that they're all clashing, it's kind of like the Titans in a city just about to break everything down.
No pun intended.
Oh, yeah.
Why not? Why not?
Beat
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
I didn't mean to do that one, but yeah, it worked out that way. So that's always a happy coincidence.
Well, we can't paint you a picture without a canvas, and that canvas being what maps we're going to play on. Right now, I have the veto we can start to take a look at. I'm sure my scientist here, my analytical crew already has it figured out, but we're going to nail it down anyway.
I mean, I don't know what you think, Chad. To me, there are a bunch of questions going into that veto. It's not quite clear-cut as maybe any other matchup. I think when it comes to the veto, G2 have to remove Mirage. I don't know why they would leave it in.
I think the bans are clear, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They have to remove Mirage. Now on the side of FaZe, do you remove Train?
They're going to get rid of Overpass. They've been getting rid of Overpass in every series, right?
That means that G2 have quite, a few possibilities. They could go for Train pick, they could go for an Inferno pick. I guess Vertigo is going to get floated by both teams.
Yeah, I
see it as a second wave.
I think that maybe Inferno will have a bit of confidence behind it after that Renegades game yesterday, right? 16-7 scoreline. It was something that Renegades picked and was hoping to get a lot done on. But, they can be quite proficient. The French teams were the ones with all the pocket executes on the A-bombs, like Kenny on the CT side with the AWP on a map like Inferno. He feels very comfortable. So I think, those conditions is probably a good reason. And FaZe have only played this map with Neo officially once, right? So I think that's a reason that they might want to pick it. So the bans as we expect, the picks, yeah, you're right, it's curious. I think, FaZe are going to stick with Dust 2.
Yeah, I would, but here is the problem for me. I believe G2 is very happy to welcome Dust 2 as a pick. So I don't see where FaZe can really trap the Frenchmen on that veto. But obviously, when you see how they play against Liquid, you think, it doesn't matter if G2 can play
Maybe
Dust
they
2.
don't need to trap them as well, though, because something that I've noticed is they played 10 days ago, right? These two teams in ECS. And the veto, the bans were the same, the pick for FaZe was the same, but last time around G2 picked into Nuke, expecting to be able to punish FaZe, historically a team not playing Nuke, but we just saw FaZe pick up Nuke yesterday versus the likes of Liquid. So we know that it's a map that they can play, something that they've been practicing on, something that they actually get a lot of Guardian. So Vertigo, like you mentioned, it's not going to get through. FaZe gets to ban Train, and it will end on Nuke if we get that far.
Yeah, we're going to have to get all that way. Inferno, Dust 2, and Nuke are the maps that we're going to be giving you, at least G2 and FaZe are. And this could be a real scrappy one. And before we get into it any further, we've actually taken the opportunity to talk to one player from each team about this matchup.
As well, gets the kill and tries to get away, but Nico snaps back out from position inside of Squeaky, or excuse me, some Secret. Back to a 3-on-3, minute and 12. Olaf gets one more, but Get Right sneaks in finally to take care of him, and he knows that Neo's up above. Nades go both directions. Get Right wants to pop out, and Neo, well blinded, fires in.
We didn't manage to go straight to semifinals, but we put up a good show, I would say, and I think this lineup looks promising for now, and I think we can show even better result in the playoffs.
Problem now is very little utility for the Liquid side. Olaf's got one. There's the follow-up. Somehow he gets all three.
We feel confident going into that matchup against them, and I just hope we're going to be showing better FaZe.
So yeah, I just feel good. That's why we love playing CS. To be on such big stages and having a massive crowd in front of us. We play for that, we love that, and that's what we call competition.
He could probably maybe run through and steal a kill somewhere, but oh wow, one more head just come. Oh no! How could that happen? Absolutely impossible with the team. Oh, he's gonna dodge it.
I mean, I have a lot of respect for them, like Neo and stuff. They are such a big players, all of them. But we want to win that, and if we actually manage to focus on ourselves and be on point, we're gonna win this game.
Well, it's just about that time to get everyone situated, everyone seated, and that being also FaZe Clan and G2. Dallas, I'm going to need you to make a little bit of noise for these 10 individuals to include the coach.
We just need to get to the point now where they walk out with the kids, right? To be like a football match. They do all the photos, the flags, the national anthems. They're walking out side by side. It's kind of like coming out the tunnel.
It really kind of is. I think I have a harder time trying to understand where this crowd would fall when it comes down to this matchup. Is it more of a FaZe crowd or is it more of a G2 crowd? I mean,
Chad was saying it, so many legends on the server, on the stage right now. So if you're a CS fan, obviously, you hear Kenny S, you want to shout, you hear Shox, you want to shout, but what about Nico? What about Olaf Meister? What about Neo for the more aged of us, if I dare say? So there's so many legends on the server.
Let's start with the legends of FaZe Clan. Dallas, I know you got a couple FaZe fans out there. Guardian, Olaf Meister, Neo, Rain, and Nico.
Yeah, look, this team, ever since they've added Neo, we actually haven't had that many LAN performances to base it off of. It was against the Limping Wounded in the opening stages, Wendigo and NIP, both teams with stand-ins, but versus Liquid, they did what they needed to do. They looked fantastic. They had a lot of executes. They looked like they had T-side game plans. They were winning clutches. Olaf and Rain were having big contributions. So all in all, FaZe was looking fantastic against their biggest opponent yet in such a short amount of time. Now we need to see if that consistency of that level of gameplay can carry through.
And Maniac, is this a revitalized FaZe? Is that the best way to say it?
Listen, yes, probably. Now the question is that going to last? Is it, we talk about honeymoon period, Neo is here. What kind of effect can it have on other players? You get to play with Neo, the Neo. Does that boost your confidence, your motivation? Sure, it does. Now, I don't know how many ideas, what kind of philosophy he's bringing into the game, but I agree with Chad. The phase that we saw against Liquid, even though they lost the series, was impressive. I think it was decisive. Individually speaking, there were fire everywhere. Can they repeat that performance? If so, they will destroy them.
I, for one, just have a good feeling seeing that guy getting it back into the server. Well, it just feels good.
We're talking about what this means for FaZe, but we're not really talking about what it means for Neo, right? He was playing with the same bunch of players for such a long period of time, and obviously mentally as a team, they were quite broken down. The solutions that they were going for weren't the answers. They continued to lose, continued to spiral until they hit absolute rock bottom. And for me, I thought that was going to be it. I didn't think we would see Neo coming back to top-tier professional Counter-Strike by any means, and now he gets an opportunity to have all the ideas that he had within that team of Virtus.pro, all the experience from his years of playing, and now apply that with some of the best individuals that Counter-Strike has had to offer. That is a fantastic mixture right here, and you can see it diversifying their map pool. Nuke coming in is something we would never talk about with FaZe.
Simply the best of the best, or well, at least most of them within this FaZe Clan lineup. And YNK as a coach, what do we think about him?
Well, Yanko, obviously we've had him on the analyst desk for a long time. We know he has fantastic insights. I think the synergy between him and Nico could be a very big thing for this team, keeping that balanced. And having him chipping in with ideas from time to time, it's always a positive.
Always a positive, too, if you take a look over on the French side. Kenny S, Shox, Amanek, Lucky, and Jax here representing France. And they've had quite the run here, wouldn't you say, Maniac?
Yes, they had, and I think that there are some green lights on the side of G2, some signs to be happy about. I think Amanek is overperforming right now compared to what he's been doing in 2019. Obviously, that's a good sign. And then yesterday, Kenny and Shox, my God, was it back to 2014? To me, it felt like I was sitting next to Kenny as in Titan when he had to frag 35 so that we could get the map, and he was doing exactly that. So if you can have Shox activated, Kenny activated, and a decent job from the rest of the squad, then ultimately the limits of this team are just blown out the window.
Yeah, my problem is that doesn't feel like that's their baseline. Their baseline feels like just pretty run-of-the-mill Kenny and Shox, right? And then everybody else just chipping in, contributing. Obviously, Amanek, you mentioned him. He's obviously playing fantastic Counter-Strike. He has the most clutches at the moment in the entire tournament, and that's going to be a factor if this does turn into tight matchups. He's going to need to step up and win a couple of those big rounds to really inspire and boost that of G2, because their T-sides on certain maps have been relatively one-dimensional and a bit lacking.
Yeah. I mean, we saw them take up against the Ints, okay? And that's where they were kind of saying, didn't really go their way. It's pretty much the simplest way and the most bare form way to put it. But ultimately, that is what, I guess, kept them down and now put them into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, definitely. I think Chad is spot on when he talks about the T side. That is the weakness of that team, and I would go even in deeper detail and say that the opening frags is a problem. If you look at the ratios right now, all across the board, it's below 1 for every player, which means, I mean, just Kenny is up there. Kenny is there because he had a crazy performance yesterday.
And he's an AWPer as well, right?
Exactly, but otherwise the entry fragging department is really low, and then because they don't get these opening frags, they cannot convert 5v4. That doesn't exist. So that's a problem.
Well, no problems here, though. In 2019, I'm going to present to you our head-to-head brought to you by X-Men Dark Phoenix. I'm sure there's some X-Men fans in the audience. Our head-to-head is Olaf Meister and Shox. Now, both of these guys have displayed exemplary performance in the server within this tournament. Even lately, these guys have been firing away.
Now, I completely agree. I think this is the story between these two, is the craziness of the performance that they are putting here compared to what used to be 2019. I think Olaf, for that, it's incredible. He has plus 20, plus 0.2 compared to 2019 in this event right now. He's firing on all cylinders, and I for one, I wonder, what is it? Is it he changed role when Neo came in and probably took some position? Is it the philosophy of Neo in game that works, or is it just a boost of motivation?
Now, Chad, I'm going to ask you if you agree, but first I want to get everyone at home to go ahead and vote on this chat. You have these fingers. You should put them, the tips of those at least, onto the keyboard and type your vote in. Hashtag FaZe or hashtag G2, whoever you think is going to win. This is your green light to spam. Chad, would you agree with what he was saying?
Yeah, I think there has been a couple of role changes. As you can see on CT sides, things have been moved around, maybe trying to facilitate him and make him more comfortable, because at one point in time, Olaf was the best player in the world, right? He could take over rounds individually.
Right.
Now, with that in mind, you can have Shox and you can say the exact same thing, almost in the same era when they were both, or same period of time when they were both towards the top of their game. So these two players are going to be hugely influential right now in how this matchup's going to shake on out. I think, though, the fact that we put Kenny and Shox on such a high pedestal over on the G2 side of things, you have deeper talent, or deeper proven talent, on the FaZe side to trickle down. So if Olaf has a bad game, but Rain has an amazing one, then it can make up for that. You have other people to fall in. Nico and Guardian always get theirs, right? They're the staple. Nico hasn't been, hitting the peaks, but he's just been doing his job consistently. So the other two are more like the flux picks.
Well, I mean, that could even be something as a testament to where FaZe Clan is headed, given the new leadership. I mean, it might take a little bit of time to maybe get Nico back on the horse. I mean, he's still Nico.
I mean, it's always going to take time if you're Nico. You have been focusing on, handling your team and the tactical aspect for so long. Obviously, you kind of, I think, lost focus on how to play just you, your keyboard, your mouse, your computer. That's it. Now he has to focus again back, and he has the luxury of having Neo with him. Obviously, Yenko is helping them. But I'm not worried for Nico. I think he's going to get there eventually, and once he does, FaZe Clan is going to be very scary.
Well, I'm worried for you two. We got to get some predictions. And so far, it's kind of been a little bit of an up and down, but it is that time. I'll start with you, Maniac. I'll let you gather your thoughts, Chad. FaZe versus G2 at a best of 3.
Listen, it hurts my heart, but I think FaZe is going to take this. As Chad was mentioning, I think the roster is deeper on the side of FaZe, and you don't have to take gamble on 1 or 2 players showing up. There is distribution in terms of talent and impact. I think the map pool doesn't favor G2 too much. That would have been the one thing that I could have given them, but that's not the case here. So I cannot really say anything else than FaZe. It's going to be a tight game, but it's going to be FaZe.
I've only got one prediction wrong the entire thing, and that was Furia. So I'm going to just stick with FaZe. The Furia thing, it's an anomaly in this scenario. Right. I think FaZe Clan are the better team in general. I think that G2 have fantastic highs and very bad lows. For me, this is the test to see if there's any consistency to the form that we saw from Kenny and Shox yesterday. So if they come out and they can carry that through, and that can be a consistent thing for G2 going forward, great signs. But here, I think they're a step further than they probably should be in this tournament to begin with, and FaZe probably right where they should be.
Yeah, and this is a little bit, I don't know. The last one was too easy for me to predict, right? So I'm just kidding. I really...
Did you predict Furia?
I did go Furia.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
That was a once-in-a-lifetime sort of get-right thing right there. FaZe versus G2, I think I'm going to have to go FaZe as well, just because they seem like they've got it all figured out. Meanwhile, G2 are almost there, but I can't really give them that sort of nudge, that sort of edge just yet. And that is why we have, I guess, unanimously gone for FaZe. Let's see what you thought, Twitch chat. Perhaps you're on the same page with us. Perhaps not. Wow. Branding?
Yeah,
what are we thinking here?
Everything is fine.
Yeah, well, that makes sense, right? I think there's a 30% chance that Shox and Kenny could go off. So I'll side with Twitch chat in that regard.
I also think that FaZe have shocked people a little bit when they lost to Liquid, but the way they lost to them, they really put up a fight, and we really didn't know where to put FaZe right now. That's their first offline event with Neo as an in-game leader, so I thought they might get blown out of the water by Liquid, but that wasn't the case at all.
I was going to say the only scary thing for me in this situation is we put a lot of stock in Vitality winning Summit, right? Like, we're like, yeah, they just did this, and then they should beat Furia because they're a more experienced team. Well, we're putting a lot of stock in FaZe who have only had 1 good series. Now, obviously, the Wendigo and NIP series will withstand it, so there's always going to be that caveat.
Yeah, and that's not a fun caveat for anyone. But Dallas, I've got a little more fun coming your way. Right now, a tag team duo to die for. That's right. In tandem, we have Henry G and Sadakis here, live, uncut, and in Dallas. Take it away, fellas.
All the innuendo. Why not, Trace? That's what esports is all about. Personality. You gotta love it. This is gonna be a sweet game, I have to say. I think that FaZe versus G2. G2 is having a bit of a renaissance period. To stick with the French theme. Kenny and Shox yesterday certainly showcased signs of 2014, 2015. If they can continue that against FaZe, who's on a honeymoon period, I think we're in for a bit of a treat.
Yeah, the map pool suggests it's going to be fun as well. We kick off with Inferno, then on to Dust 2, so some high-flying antics coming in. Dust 2 should be a lot of fun, especially with Kenny S. looking incredibly sharp, and Guardians look strong on that map as well. I agree with the desk. There hasn't been a massive sample size to go off FaZe, really. They've played 2 teams with stand-ins. They had a great series against Liquid. They were unable to close out, but still had them on the ropes for many rounds. G2 have looked much better. Amanek seems to be a really nice adjustment, bringing him into the team. High fragging potential, and like you said, it's Kenius and Shoxy that seem to be delivering on all fronts. They're going to have to show up today in buckets and spades to stand a chance. Ladies and gentlemen, your second quarterfinal about to begin. We've got some absolute legends on the server. That's right, make some noise. It'll be FaZe to start on the CT side, and G2 will have a look at their buy. 4 sets of Kevlar. We've got the smoke, the 2 flashbangs, all in the back pocket of Shox as they start to send players towards B to kick things off, but aggression from Rain.
He's super aggressive. Already down to the bottom side of middle. No one spotting him in a boost up to the right. If he can cross the stairs, that'll certainly be chaotic. His teammates are supporting him as well. Oh my goodness. Look how low Shox is. 1 HP already from the nades, and he is sitting. Okay, doesn't even matter. He might have been spotted, but Rain knows that the approach is from Banana. He's going to deal with that first. Shox is not a threat at this point in time. In fact, he has to rotate all the way back around to ult middle. The fact that Rain went down is fine because the information was gained, but Amanek sneaks in from the apartments, and as they thought it was going to be on B based on Rain's information, they actually snuck in behind them.
That's a nice shot from Olofmeister. Oh, make it a double. It's Shoxy with 1 HP. Absolutely 0 chance of pulling this one off as they'll jump out, take him down, and I can confirm the round goes in favor of FaZe. Lovely stuff there from Olofmeister. He's had a fantastic tournament so far, pushing out big numbers every single game, and that shot towards second middle was great. Then towards quad as well. Really sharp stuff from him. 3 players survive on the FaZe side. Bomb defused, no problem at all there. G2 have been noted like a force buy in the past. We'll see if they want to bring that out here. Here's the replay of Olofmeister down towards middle. Second shot, just beautiful. And there is going to be a force. It's the French way. We'll see Galil's come through, AKs as well. A couple of Deagles are really going for it. It's just Kenny S of Deagle, no armor. Up against FaZe and there. 3 rifles here and 2 SMGs.
Neo. Quick check down alt mid, no one there. Took some damage, couldn't really sit around to hold them off any further. Seeing that force buy again from G2 based on the bomb plant. We saw this a bit yesterday from Furia as well. It's not uncommon. Yeah, 2 big changes in the money system. One of them is 1900 and the other is obviously the lack of reset.
Going to set up for the B execution here. Nico flashed over, trying to apply some pressure towards the top. Did spot a couple, but they haven't fallen back. They're not dissuaded just yet. The smoke might hold them up here, though. They'll get it themselves established on the sandbags there, and it's given up the game that they do indeed have rifles. Might be able to take down Rain here. He's incredibly low, but he sneaks back and towards the bomb site as they take the bomb back towards middle. Not going to be committing towards this B side just yet.
Yeah, it was bold from Rain to try and fire in. He actually gave himself up, if anything. Amanek had a solid performance yesterday. There was quite a bit of buzz on the internet about it. Bomb takes down Kenny. That's Bomb at the top of the wall. He gets away for free as well. Nades will do further damage. Amanek down to 46. So far, the rifles that have been picked up for G2 have yet to find anyone. The smokes are sufficient. That'll hold Guardian off inside of the library, but he just distracts, and the other 2 inside of the site will go to work. Bomb dropped once more, and Lucky's gone. He only had 32 to take the fight with just the Deagle.
That's a really disappointing force buy from G2. They've barely inflicted any damage. No bomb plant comes in, clean sweep from FaZe. All 5 players survive, and they get themselves a couple of AKs as well. So that's all for free. And speaking of which, we should have a 3-0 here, no problem, as G2 can only really bring Deagles out. That's about it. Kenny S investing in the Deagle once again. He's going to struggle to bring the AWP out early. It's always been a problem for G2, him over-investing in these sort of situations when it's not really required. No armor, 1 flashbang. That's what I'll try and finish up towards B and get the bomb down here, if possible.
Flash will catch off Jax, but no one to attack behind it. More of a nuisance than anything, as Nico stays in the open, hoping to catch them off, hoping to play in front of the smoke, which was now deployed. He's forced back in. Counterflash is sufficient. Rain gets one. Nico, having given them a little bit of damage assistance, will follow out to get the other, but it's still enough for Omnic. Oh, he's got bomb. He can't push all the way forward. Guardian nearly catches him. Normally with 2 kills on entry, despite the trades, you get the site, but right now they're scrambling to recover position because they didn't have the weapons. And the bomb was thrown slightly further ahead than they would have hoped for. They still will get the plant. That'll give them the additional money. Great shot, Omnic, but round will still go FaZe's way.
Yeah, it's the most promising round they've had so far. Doesn't bode too well considering it was the pretty much full eco there, but still, getting the bomb planted, 3 kills is going to keep FaZe relatively modest overall, but it will be 3-0. The B execution, I say that, just one flashbang, and in they go. They managed to scrap their way into a bomb plant situation, but not really much chance of winning it. First proper gun round coming out here with the bomb planted. Kenny can by the AWP. He's got no helmet. Could be an issue against the M4s and Orcs here. Neo and Olaf Meister using those. Don't see FaZe use too many Orcs, so nice to see them adapting as we have a slight technical issue here.
So round reset, restarted. Hopefully we'll be able to address it right away. Shox didn't look like he's too enthusiastic so far. Not like the coach just checking with the admins, letting him know on their side they're okay. So presumably they'll check both sides, and if that's the case, often it's a sound issue. And it is confirmed in my ear now, it is a TeamSpeak issue, so it must be on the FaZe side, given that Malik had his thumb firmly in the air when asked by the admin. Just to note as well, I mentioned the honeymoon period. That used to be a term applied to teams when they added a player or reformed. They would go on a period of sort of overachieving, if you will. And that often had to do with 2 things. One is you get excited, you're motivated to play within your own team, but also teams don't know how to counter you. You bring something different to the table. We haven't really talked about a honeymoon period in a long time because the top teams have been so consistent lately. It's Liquid, I guess, sure, they made 1 change this year. Astralis, they haven't made a change since last year in January, so it's not as common we see it now.
It's more with new teams these days. I would say ENCE certainly had one when they exploded onto the scene. Teams weren't really sure how good they were going to be. No one was spending much time into countering them at all, and then they turned out to be this world-class team. You can see them almost plateauing now. They need to readjust their game. They've certainly got issues they need to sort out as teams start to overwhelm.
Well, and that also goes with, and this is where, you know, it can't be argued. Sometimes you're trying to prove yourself, you're eager, you're keen, and you start going to so many events, you just don't leave the time to adapt and adjust and make changes as they're needed. Kenny got the first shot. It was quick. That's what we like to see from Kenny. But Guardian, equal to the task, finds him in return. That's going to be a battle if they're both on form that is tantalizing, and it always has been in history. Guardian is certainly up to the task. He finds Omnic in the hallway, but just as the first, it is traded as well, and Lucky finds Nico, who now that he's not in-game leading might have a chance to put those numbers back up, to get the stats back to where we love to see them.
They actually had an open B bomb side there. G2 obviously not aware of it, didn't pounce. They'll slow things right down in the 3 versus 3. There's still a little bit of utility on the French side. Actually had 3 smokes and 3 flashbangs and Molotov to boot, so they're in a decent position in that regard. And Neo leaving the A side here, rotating towards the arch side. There are 2 players at the top of middle right now. Olaf Meister to challenge them. He gets the dink, and as you can see, 97 damage inflicted, not quite enough. It's up to Neo now. Needs to hold off at least one of them to stand a chance for his teammates on the clutch. We'll see what he can do. Spots one towards quad, and I don't think he'll be surviving this. Looks like there's too much pressure coming through.
A couple of shots from Neo on the AUG, but Jax, he finds it instead, and he'll drop inside. They'll hold pits. Just Guardian, G2. Now that we're back underway, showing they've certainly got something prepared for the T side. Inferno to kick off a series is interesting, because usually Inferno is very much based on form and momentum if you're going to take duels.
Yeah, it's new because it's a close. It's been a very popular map this tournament. It was BTS last week as well.
Well, there's one obvious reason. It's a 6-map pool right now.
Sure.
Not a lot of people, exactly. Vertigo is going to be the go-to ban for a lot of people, which leaves Nuke to be picked or left over.
Yes, indeed. It feels like no teams want to float Vertigo in the playoffs so far, understandably so. It's a map that seems to have inconsistencies, needs a few adjustments, and doesn't play out in a consistent manner, so it makes sense. If you're the underdog team, though, maybe a map pool's a little bit weaker, you definitely want to leave that in, but we're not going to see it today at least. Hopefully, we'll get it once in the playoffs, who knows. Guardian will save the AWP, and they absolutely needed that because he's going to have to drop one here, and they will get a buy together. It's actually pretty decent with his drop. It'll be the last of the buys, though, as they gave up 3 players in the round before. It's Guardian, who does manage to get 2 opening picks, but still wasn't quite enough. Nico going down to B, open things up, and then that's exactly where G2 managed to find success, rotating back towards A, taking down Neo. At that point, it looked like it was almost impossible to even go for that. So Guardian back towards B at the start, 3 players there. G2 certainly probing this position. They're going to be throwing utility up, and the flashbang comes in. That's a bit of a Guardian classic, that one. Flash, pull the trigger, nail the shot, takes down Lucky.
To defend toward the apartments and the pits more effectively this round. Jax wants to work out of the boiler doorway, but Neo's already going to come up to counter it with the AUG spot, but drops. I think he thought it was going to be a flash above him. It was a Molotov. Either way, it does damage, and he is forced off the angle. Olaf tries to adjust to cover it for him so they can't wrap quad. The smoke in the doorway enables him to look that direction for a little bit longer. But that's all for naught, according to G2. They're posturing for information and a reaction, and they got it as well. Nico pushes out top side of Banana. He's gone. Shocks with the kill. Found by Rain. Timed that very well. The counter smoke, he pushes through it. And a Molotov to hold them off and allow the rotation, which he's going to need. Guardian towards CT with the AWP, but he won't have vision yet. It's all on Rain, and he's done very well. Rain is so efficient as an anchor.
Yeah, they're not really playing off each other, though. Nico out there on the sandbags. He's in a single duel. He'll go down. Rain did very well, but they've made this difficult. Guardian, he's preparing the situation, though, efficiently. They deny the plant. They keep 3 players alive. It was looking a little bit scrappy towards the mid stages of that round, but Rain finding the bomb, buying some time. The smoke dissipates towards CT spawn. The rotations come through, and Guardian denies absolutely everything, and he's hitting most of his shots right now. He is 7-1 as we enter round number 6. G2 with no plan there, going to take a partial buy. They've got a MAC-10, 2 CZs, a Deagle, and 1 Galil, and basic utility here. So it looks good for the 5-1. You never know. G2 like a force buy for a reason. They're very good with the pistols. They're going to operate in a default manner here. Wait for the aggression to come through, see if there's any 1-dig opportunities. Guardian a little bit more passive this round, just holding towards top and middle. Looking to take a shot and fall back. MAC-10 in towards Boiler. Looks like an A finish here.
AUG again, balcony railing. Quick drop angle.
You can see Rain's got himself towards the bottom of B.
Absolutely.
So lots of rotation out for CTs.
Oh, but no one's even watching it. Usually, if you're still at the top side of middle, you have someone considering that because the rotation's already happened. They've got Arch covered off, 3 in the side, bomb down in mid, and Rain should easily dispose of Shocks at that range. I say it. He's got the Deagle, so if he hits one of those shots, he might give him a chance. But good play, good push. And it's 5-1 for FaZe.
Absolutely true. No, lovely little push there from Rain. As soon as he starts getting down towards the logs area, Nico is able to rotate back towards A, giving a really solid chance of holding things off. Rain pushes a bit further, an audacious move, but he gets 2 frags and finishes things off. Got a bit scrappy with the USP, but he manages to get the frag. 5-1. AK's brought back out here, and we'll see if this is going to be enough. Back into the default. Bomb down to T-spawn. Not going to be anything too fast at this point. Guardian still at middle. He'll change it up between apartments, middle, and B. Wherever he feels like he can have impact, he wants to be unpredictable. But they have got solid banana control at least. Lucky and Shocks have got to the very top. And it's Nika that's been playing a little bit too aggressive for my liking by himself. So he reels it in a little bit. He'll be towards CT spawn. Rain in first oranges. Guardian has a little peek in towards Boiler. Nothing there, but at this point, Jax has claimed that territory. Incendiary towards Boiler. Just to buy Guardian a bit of time. He might have to fall back at this point.
Neo smoked. Passive toward the arch this time. A little more standard, given that both teams are postured across the map. In other words, FaZe hasn't had the availability of rotation, so they have 2 inside of the B site. They're actually lost for control of Banana as well. And we're going to try and take advantage of that. Look at Rain's position. He's hoping that they'll flash behind him, that he can use their own utility against them. He's going to try. Blinded as they are. He finds 2, but goes down. Omenik holding against the wall, was not caught by the flash. Nico. He'll have a smoke in front and has to back off, so they only found 2. Again, this is where the trades, no matter how many you lose, if you can catch them before the rotation, you can get the bomb down. Shocks gets Nico back, but they still haven't planted, and Guardian is towards CT. Neo's also inside of Banana. Bomb gets at least planted, but there's nowhere for Amanuk to go because Neo's already around the corner.
Well, there it is. Lovely play there from FaZe. They could detect multiple numbers from GT on the other side of the B bomb site before they can even execute. They flash over, really throw a spanner in the works as well. Nico with the godlike flashbang to enable Rain to get 2. He then finds one of his own at that point. Sure, the bomb goes down, but it was a clean FaZe round. It will be 6-1. Lost bonus will be a maximum, so there is a buy there. And with the lost bonus and plant coming through, they're going to take a tactical timeout now. Things aren't going too well. And this is the G2 map pick as well. They really want to be posing at least 5 rounds here. Only got the 1 so far, but like I said, a buy available. Kenny S, AWP, maybe not so much. He has 4,300 right now. Jax with 6K. We'll see if that means he's going to drop the AWP. You don't necessarily need one on the T side of Inferno. Very difficult to operate, but if ever there was an AWP to do so, it would be Kenny S. Guardian will keep his. 2 of the most iconic snipers ever to touch CSGO. Kenny 3 and 7 right now. It's Guardian with the strong numbers, 7 and 1. Hasn't fracked for a couple of rounds, but a 6-1 up, that doesn't matter. A little bit more up front here, FaZe in this round. Going to be throwing deep grenades towards B. They have connected. Lucky down to 62.
Boost down the lane. He doesn't know that Lucky is so close with that smoke down. This could catch both of them because when you see one boosted, he might as well attack both. Lucky, he knows he's there now. Has to swing out, but he's caught off by a team flash. It does go both ways, but it gives Nico the advantage. They walked into it. They actually hinder their own chances, and you can see how flustered they are. Double smoke towards CT, that's wasted utility as well.
Absolutely true. How Nico gets 2 there, I could not tell you. Olaf Meister, he finds his frag towards middle. That could change everything. He gets it. Amanek goes down, one of the key fraggers for G2. It's now up to Shoxy and Jax to fend off FaZe here. This kill has to come through. What a shot that is. Olaf Meister keeping up that strong form he's shown throughout the tournament. And now Shox will have to roll back the years on this one. Ooh. Lovely shot to kick things off. Currently sit behind the pillar. Time ticking away on that bomb. He's going for the second. He's absolutely got it. Now towards the new boxes. He's low HP. Surely he can't finish this one off, but he's done it. That's what they needed. It's Shoxy in the 3 versus 1 clutch. He can't pick up the AWP. He actually finds a Nova shotgun somehow. I don't know what's happened there. Maybe an auto buy coming in, but he did not get the AWP. Strange scenes, but it's a massive clutch.
Either way, that's exactly what Shox needed. He looked non-receptive during the last time out. Early in the game as well, seemed quite quiet, I suppose. Focused maybe, but almost frustrated by the way things were going. So he takes matters into his own hands. That was very well done. And the miscommunication mid-round, team flash, when it easily was the right idea to flash Nico, but not telling Lucky that it was going to come through. Gets caught, they walk out, Nico gets both, and then the double smoke towards CT. They were lost in the mid-round.
Yeah, it was very messy, but Shoxy bails them out. That's what he does best. Let's see what they can do with this one. Mac 10s around, money pretty weak on the G2 side. 3 players have got helmets, though, however. It does increase the chance of those Mac 10s, but that does not. Guardian with another opening pick. That's Amanek removed again. Hasn't really had a chance to show us what he's capable of because he's getting picked off left, right, and center. Strong grenade towards B, and there's the reaction coming through, running through the flames. It's Nico to trade with Lucky there, and it looks like he's on for a couple more as well. And he's trying to get himself in a more advantageous position.
Jax does get the angle, having snuck in toward Ruins to find Nico. The smoke down, they want to push Guardian. Oh my god, I thought he was going to get the chance. Kenny finds it instead. 2-on-2, and Stu's in the post. Never mind, no it doesn't.
Yeah, they're all dead, Olaf. Go defuse the bomb.
He doesn't even realize they're all dead already. He's still looking. How quick was that?
Yeah, that was pretty intense. I like the play from Kenny, though. Drop the smoke towards Coffin, suggests that it's all going to be clear. You can come round and start flashing through, and he walks straight into it. Guardian didn't see it coming, and Kenny finding the AWP might have been a chance there, but FaZe just pounced on them. The boost and CT spawn just with the smokes going down. 2 quick kills. Even Olaf Meister wasn't aware that the round was over. So they bounced back. Bomb planted, lost bonus there again after conceding that one. So another buy available, but they'll be clutching at straws. All of them hovering around $4,000 on the nose. Mac 10s will have to come out once more. 3 AKs and a Kenny S glass cannon. He could afford the AWP, 1 smoke and a flash. That's about it. Is it going to be enough? Guardian's been so good at these opening picks. He jumps across, doesn't fancy the challenge towards these steps.
Go. Oh, he's caught. Nowhere to hide. Rain has to bail him out, but he's left alone. Traded for 1. Do they know there's a 3rd? Neo new box. This is not what they've seen so far from FaZe. Amanek's gone all the way through to Ruins. Neo will be able to call that, but Bomb's going to join. And Neo knows that that is going to happen. It has to happen. They think they're in the open. He can deny this. Steps wide. He'll allow the bomb plant, but he gets 2 kills immediately after. And it's all on Shox again. Because look where Jax is. He was still lurking toward the A side. He's got to hightail it through Banana. Now, he should beat them there due to the smoke that's down towards CT. So Shox gets away with it. But he's isolated again. Counter smoke, they'll push it. They knew that came from Banana. Massive gap. Shox wants to utilize that. And he will. Guardian steps into it, exactly what he wanted to make the most of the situation. And it's a bomb too far gone. It's going to be 7-3. G2 find another round, and Jax even makes sure Olaf goes down.
They've broken the money of FaZe there at the same time. It's a huge round for G2 to pick up, and now they can really sink their teeth into this first half. Once again, focusing towards B. There were 3 players there as well. Neo with the lurk towards new boxes. They weren't aware of his position. He actually plays it really well. He goes for the player that could kill him first and then leaves the planter to his own devices. If he had killed the planter a second before the bomb went down, they probably win the round, but with the C4 planted there was nothing FaZe could do, and it will be an eco for them. Not really much invested at all, just a Deagle, 1 HE, a flashbang. Should be no chance of them picking this one up, so G2 maybe onto a 7-5 scoreline here. Money will take a while to build back up here.
For Guardian, same position for Nico. Full stack on B. Neo, the only one that's, well, he's there now. He's actually boosted Flowers for Olaf, but the only one who's considering CT and Speedway at all. Top mid, where G2 is predominantly positioned and likely going to continue on that direction as they start to clear off the angle. So the stack is in rotation, including the push from Olaf to make sure they don't go back down Banana. They want to try to make the most of this, and they might. They push through the smoke now. They get dinks fast enough. The nade gets 1, but it's well controlled. Kills come in as needed for G2, 7-4.
Nice work from Jax to stay alive there. They only give up 1 player. Jax with 3 kills. Takes his total up to 7, so maybe that'll bring him online. Like I said, might take a couple of ecos here for FaZe to get into this once more. They've currently got around $3,800 per player. So Deagle's PD50s once again, agonizing for them considering what a strong start they had. There was a chance when FaZe could put the pistols out. This time a little bit stronger. They've got some utility, 3 smokes and a few flashbangs. 3 HEs as well. They want to try and get one of those tactical strikes in towards B perhaps, we'll see. You can see G2 being very passive right now. Olaf might say anything but. He's actually got himself all the way in towards the T-apps here. No presence there from the T's. Amanek, oh, the timing's going to be brutal here. Is he going to check behind him? Oh, they're right next to each other. They don't even know it. He spotted one. Here we go, and Amanek does check it in the end. An opportunity for Olaf there, but one that will not be realized.
Molotov will segregate the position. Nico, he pushes through the smoke even. Lucky was not caught off. So from 7-1, looking like 7-5, G2 have certainly turned the fortunes around. It's quite literally the fortunes now because there isn't any money left over for FaZe, dropping off his Guardian, trying to just stay alive, draw the battle out in the best way that he can, but this is becoming a game, a contest at that. Good shot from Lucky. And it's just Neo remaining.
Yeah, not really much Neo can do with this, I'm afraid, but there will be a buy there for FaZe into the next round. B bomb site has been a main issue for them. It's Neo just looking to see if anyone will make a mistake and give him an opportunity to get a kill and maybe steal a rifle away. I don't think it's going to happen. They're all exiting towards the second mid side. No one exiting towards Arch. He has no kit. Can't really do anything with this at all. And just to confirm things, Jax will stay with the bomb just to the last minute there, just to make sure it's absolutely fine. And he's aware of the final player. He was correct in his thinking. 5th round for G2. You're absolutely right. This is starting to become a little bit more interesting now. We've got round 13 coming up. Will FaZe want to run a double AWP setup perhaps? They haven't. Just Guardian on his for now on 10 frags, starting to slow down from his initial pace. KNS with 5. You can see the AWP is not delivering on all fronts. Go then. default from G2 once again. Bomb heads towards B, however. Grenades at the top. What a significant one as well. Takes Guardian down to 51.
Jack's already pushing up inside of the apartments. He's got some company. Neo's going to slip into the pit as well.
I think they're going to go for the library smoke here, which has just been deployed. Double flash out of the apartments and try and focus on the pit. 3 players making their way out, and it's Neo to strike first. He does a little bit of damage there. Olofmeister needs to find a couple more. It's a 3 versus 3, but G2 still on their feet with 1 minute remaining. They will fall back. They're happy with the damage they've done. 3 players still with full health as Lucky full control of middle. You see the B bomb site fully open now for FaZe. They're not 100% sure where this is going to finish up.
No, they're already cheating off on the rotation back. Nico, he's there now. Rain's not as convinced because Nico's not called any action, but he positions himself so he can go either way. Surprising they weren't able to get Olaf. Neo took just enough of the aggro away that he was able to slide out despite that he put his own smoke down, so they knew he was there. Timed it well. Doesn't want to leave the pit. Spots toward top mid. 30 seconds. Nico's not willing to move yet. He's going to have to soon. He will now. He's going to have to, surely. He's still waiting new box because he's not convinced the bomb's going to end up on A. It certainly is, but it doesn't matter. The teammates have it locked down anyway. Rain and Olaf on the crossfire. Shocks. 31 HP, 18 seconds. Has the bomb, but a lot of ground to cover before he can get it planted, and Olaf's ready for him.
Yeah, 4 kills for Olofmeister there. Incredibly strong towards that A bomb site. Really stepping up his game of this tournament. That was the A execution from G2. They bailed out of it after it went down to the 3-on-3. They actually did a pretty decent job there to keep 3 players in full health. They've already taken 2 down, and you would hope they would maybe get a couple more out of this, but Olofmeister shuts it all down, ducking and weaving through the smokes here and finding every kill available to him, even the final frag on Shoxy, which is no easy task from what we've seen so far, as those grenades are delivered and they do significant damage. Shoxy down to less than half. Lucky at 64, so a strong start here for FaZe. They're going to focus towards middle, maybe a faster approach. You can see everyone grouped up towards the mouth of the middle position. No B presence at all, so I would say they're going to do something pretty quickly here. There's the flashbang, and they are going to push the smoke.
Neo waiting for the wrap. Smoke in front of Library, but not in front of him. Doesn't matter, because Jax has Shocks' flash to work with. Olaf, balcony. Tough position to be in because he wants to watch the apartments, but now he has to watch the wrap as well. Somehow he's able to slide back toward the broken wall. Whoa. And beyond that, finds a 4th kill as well, holding down A all by himself. Bomb on the back of Shocks, but once again he's found in an unfavorable 1 versus 3. He'll Molotov Olaf out, give him the kill, but Nico's there to wrap up the round.
This is just absolute beast mode from Olofmeister. He's feeling it right now. It's the first time we've seen FaZe really operate with an AUG on the CT side. They haven't really gone towards that weapon at all. It seems like Olofmeister has been grinding away at it because this is something quite special. So strong, so confident. This is Olaf of old. 17-7, 4 frags and back-to-back rounds. As we get into the final of the half here. Looking for double digits, FaZe can certainly get it. Especially if Guardian keeps that up, but I feel like he's overstayed his welcome! Apparently not. He's taken absolutely everyone down with him. 3 kills in total. It looks like that should be it. 3 versus 1 with Lucky running through flames. And my goodness, what an explosive way to close things out. It's FaZe back on their feet on G2's map pick. We'll throw it to a break and be back with the second half.
Her mama's on the cell phone the ever-loving day long. Her daddy is watching the news. She's heard it all before. She's busting through the screen door. She knows what she's gonna do. Go downtown, not uptown. Take 440, loop around town. Go downtown, downtown. Neon lights dancing in the night, grooving and a moving and a doing what you're doing when you're downtown, downtown. Downtown, downtown. It's 95 at 1 a.m. and Broadway's on a tear. It's 100% humidity like swimming through the air. She's been going all night long. It's another honky-tonk. She's still going strong. Play another down home. Week's been too long. Hardcore country song. Go downtown, not uptown. Take 440, loop around town. Go downtown, downtown. Neon lights dancing in the night, grooving and a moving and a doing what you're doing when you're downtown, downtown. days on and 2 days off. It's a 40-minute ride from the south of Boomtown Boondocks over to the other side. Go downtown, not uptown. Take 440, loop around town. Go downtown, downtown. Neon lights dancing in the night.
G2 made marks in the half to try and pull back, but man, oh man, what a performance from the two players that were the star signings of last year, Olaf and Guardian, in sequence to pick up the last 2 rounds. And we sit now 10-5 for FaZe as they start the attack on Inferno.
So impressive. Olaf Meister delivering on that A-bomb side. Guardian started hot, quiet in the middle, but was like a lightning rod towards the end. Absolutely spectacular. We are going to get into the next pistol here. So G2 need this. It's their map pick. They got absolutely roasted in the first pistol. And on the CT side, as FaZe will have 5 players towards B. Strong grenade. That does about 100 damage itself. Molotov's coming through. They still have a chance there. Lucky's going to stand in the flames as long as he can. That's the kill, definitely in CT spawn. You got all the time in the world for that. Rain will more than happily oblige. He now sits towards Ruins. He might be worth 1 more, which he is. 4 versus 2. Jax and Amanek got their work cut out for them.
Jax, Ruins. Amanek back in, finds Guardian on top. Second player inside of Emo is usually the case when one's boosted up. Jax has Olaf, but it's Neo that they've left alive, and he comes back out perfect timing to take down Jax. Amanek knows he's there, but has to deal with him and Nico. He can find the kill clean enough onto Neo, which so far isn't the case. The kill is low enough. He needs a kid at this point in time. Tap to find the kill, but it's too far gone. He'll get it, but it's the rounds of FaZe. We'll go 11-5.
Yeah, a decent attempt there from G2. The 4 versus 2. They actually get all the kills acquired. Amanek saves his armor, and he gets 3 kills. They'll have a decent amount of cash going to the next round, but they really needed that one to go in their favor. I wouldn't be surprised if they force buy here yet again. It can actually be a very viable approach on the CT side of Inferno. CZ's, smokes, armor. It can be enough, especially if Amanek with the armor there. He might be tempted to invest into this. They are going to buy up with pistols and smokes, but no armor. So we'll see if this is going to be enough for them. The 5 smokes, as mentioned, they can treat it like a gun round at the very start. Grenade again doing a ton of damage. FaZe needs to be careful of those.
Guardian, quick check to the right side. Rain will cover off the left. Smoke down, Jax. Won't be able to see. Top. This is the nade coming through. Packs away so as to only take 25 damage without armor. Pistols on A, only 2 in B, so not electing to go with the stack. Have to be cognizant of the fact that Amanek has armor. He's tagged down to 3 now. That armor doesn't look like it's going to make it to the next round if they wanted it.
Olaf Meister, sensible not to take the duel again, take the advantage, stay alive. Don't give anything away. Neo knows the player's low. Spots him towards the pit. They will trade out. Kenny still there on the balcony. They're aware of it. He's got in there. Well, he'll get 2 kills. Whether it'll help him out any further, I'm not so sure, but still resides towards the apartments. Bomb will be planted. 3 on 3 now, no kills. What a shot.
Yeah. Oh, even better to get lucky. First one took 2 taps before we found the head. The second one was clean and clinical. Neo closes it out, and we are on to 12-5. Second map, Dust 2. Third map, as you mentioned earlier, is Nuke if required. At this rate, I don't know that it will be. Dust 2 is normally favorable to the French, but it's a map that's open, and you've got a lot of star power on FaZe that can capitalize on the duels.
Yeah, and now they actually have proper executions to go with it on Dust 2. It's a scary prospect. Another nade does the same damage. They really need to avoid that at the start. It's causing them a lot of trouble. There's another eco here. 13-5 should be available, but Deagles and CZs once again. This is the one benefit of not forcing the second and just taking a couple of upgraded pistols. You do get a second bite of the cherry. Smoke again down towards B. That's the final bit of utility though for G2. Been a while since we've seen him in the playoffs. Amanek, the latest signing, doing absolutely fantastic work throughout the group stages. Haven't seen much of him this game though, however.
Certainly the hype that was built yesterday. Not carrying over. Lucky does get Neo. Good shot on the Deagle. Jax, same weapon, smoked off at Coffins. Kenny, utility to boost. Now stack Oranges 2, taking their time. They get Rain, but he was able to get a kill through the smoke, so perhaps they should have acted a little bit sooner. Free to go for FaZe.
Well, that was the B stack. They go into it, but they managed to trade out frags effectively. AK-47 doing a great job. 13-5 G2 will bring out the AWP for the first time on the CT side. They've got 3 AUGs, 1 M4, a couple of kits, strong utility, and still a chance of them pulling this one back, but it's going to take so much now. FaZe have one more buy left in them. 3 players towards top of middle on the CT side. Guardian ready for any challenges towards top of middle. Close things out, an absolute banger of the round. Number 15 in the first half. Oh yeah, nothing too flashy to kick things off. Nico, known for his aggressive playstyle towards B on the CT and T side. Got a lot of damage, he'll be falling back towards Logs. Lucky. Seeing what he can do. He's flashed over. Holding his ground as well, not going to fall back straight away. Tempting fade though. Jumps up Nico with the flick, doesn't quite connect.
Guardian. Just on the edge of it. Uses the log so he can get the gap that he desires. But no peek from Shocks. Lucky plays it. The sandbags, actually on the offense, they'll be able to see them, and that's what you get. That's what the AUG is capable of. That's what a lot of people were saying when it came into the meta, that they can actually take these duels, they can hold the angles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes the CT slightly less reliant on utility. Certainly on a map like Inferno, where it is such a strong part of the defense, where you need the smokes to shut down the top of Banana. It's not all bad news. FaZe, one of the only teams that's not really warmed up to it.
Yeah, well, it was good to see Olof using it in such an effective manner. Some of these older players have found great success with the AUG. When Carrigan started using it, it looked fantastic individually. Pulling one back.
That was a good shot, but optimistic to run toward the site as Setch gives up Library as a result, but he wants to play off his teammate. They've lost Jax in the pits, however, and they know Amanek is going somewhere, so they're searching for him in the site. That allows Shocks to get back in, however. And Olaf pays a heavy price. Bomb goes down with about 13 seconds left on the clock. And Nico holds in the pit with an AWP. Picked up from the deceased Guardian at the start of the round. He's made good on it now twice to find Lucky, and Shocks once again find himself as the man to clutch. This would put them on 14, and there's not a lot of money on the CT side, so it's getting desperate. It's getting mandatory at this point. He's already spotted. He knows where both are in return, but he's out. He wants to save the AK, and they're going to chase. I think Neo's going to give it a try. Shock's lucky to get away with that.
5-on-4 in favor of G2 to kick this round off. Maniac mentioned that their conversion to those sort of rounds aren't fantastic. And it is going to be round 14 there. AK is going to be saved. That's about all the good news G2 have at this point. They really do have to buy this one. Shox will have to drop. And FaZe looking to close this one out quickly. Surely this will be a timeout at this stage. It looks like it is. It's going to be the coach of G2 chiming in, trying to save the day here. It might be a little bit too late. Their own map pick down 14-5 really does not bode well for the series at all. FaZe look like they are really firing on all cylinders. Nico's starting to come online as well. Now he had a quiet first half. He's gone 12-10. I think he finished the first half with 7. Great play with the AWP there. Low HP. Managed to hold the pip, hit the shots required. We're getting into round 20 here. Of course, G2 have to buy this one. They've got 2 MP9 to FAMAS for Amanek. Jax with the M4. Shoxiv has saved AK. One more round for map points as FaZe start to push towards the middle. Remember, there's no nades at the start of the round and costing them so much HP, but they fend them off this time. Another default from them. Nothing too flashy or fast-paced. Just trying to work out what G2 have on the other side. Oh, perfect Molotov. Guardian's got to kill it. Beautiful stuff. Amanek with a nice shot with the FAMAS, but it's still a 4-on-4. If he favors the tees, that certainly does. Olofmeister, nice shot. Kenny S got to defend A by himself with an MP9. Really doesn't bode well, and he's been dropped. I'm not sure they can hold on to this. They might as well save the little they have.
Shox is going to swing around, but he's already decided he's not in on this one. This is going to give up map point to FaZe. They'll play with an AK. The MP9 and head armor for Lucky. Bit of utility. He's got a smoke, incendiary. No one else really going to have much, unfortunately.
Remember, it took a Shoxy 1v3 clutch to even get them in a position where they could post any rounds.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
It broke the money. It got them 3 in a row.
Yeah, that's right. I said 7-1. It was 6-1. It was 6-2 that he did that.
Yeah. So FaZe have really completely destroyed them there. Yeah, Shoxy got a great clutch, but that's not sustainable. Testament to the score. Bomb will go off. Pretty non-exciting round, I'm afraid. Nice work from Guardian, the Molotov to flush out the quad player. Trade out frags at that point. GC just didn't have the firepower to do anything about it. And this is about what I expected. G2, who peaked in this tournament, is the best looking performance we've had from them for a very long time. I think Amanek is a massive part of that, but yeah, FaZe just have to turn up and have an average day, and they're going to run them over. So we get into what could be the final round here. They did save 2 weapons, one of which is the MP9. They've got that AK as well. They'll pause the match once again. It's going to have to be some speech at this point. 10 rounds in a row just to get overtime. Doesn't look like they're really feeling it. Coach will deliver whatever information he can. Do they want to go for an aggressive push? They want to try and change the pace of the game instead of sitting back and getting blasted one by one. Could try and take the battle towards the tees. But I feel like this is where it's all going to end. Time will tell.
Waiting with the Molotov just to make sure no one can push up into a boiler. Take strides in actually using that position to his advantage now. G2 again, just looking to survive. Dust 2 next. You mentioned it though. They've got executions now on the FaZe side. That changes a lot.
It really does. They were always strong at that map due to the individual performances and skill ceiling that was available to me. Don't need much on Dust 2 just to operate in a basic fundamental manner. But now they actually have proper A executions, fakes towards middle. They've got it all, and that really is a scary prospect. 2-0 is looking likely here. Kenny S hasn't had much to say on Inferno. Not over yet. Dust 2, certainly not a definitive result for FaZe. It's one of the maps a lot of top teams like to shy away from because of its random elements sometimes. So far, so good for FaZe. Not taking any damage, but 30 seconds on the clock. Where do they finish up here? Could this be the B execution with a little bit of presence towards middle? Flashbang comes out. This kill very important. How does Rain get that? That will be fine. He's just trying to pull a rotation away from B. There's still 2 players there. Final commitment coming in. Here's the flash. It'll be Nico to lead the charge. Molotov is strong, but Lucky somehow still alive here. Actually, Molotov didn't go as far as you'd like. That's going to be round. They've got no time here. Strong stuff from G2. Olofmeister trying to save his AK, and I think he will.
He will, but they've got money enough for the next round. Shox really doesn't. They'll try to chase this AK down, but that's one less. I say one less gun. They could still bring them out, but it's going to be one less full utility player on the CT side. So sometimes you got to pick your battles. Either way, it's another round for G2 if they really want to hold this and believe it's a step in the right direction. Shotgun now for Jax. Shox gets one of the AKs handed back over to him, but Lucky's still in the MP9. At least Kenny has the op to work with. Waffle likes to run with a Mac 10 instead. Perhaps expecting a little bit less firepower on the other side.
With shotguns, MP9s. G2 holding on by a thread here. Auto shotgun could be good for 2 here. It's only 1. Amanek on the balcony as well. Gives the position up with the spray. That's going to put a halt to things here. 1 minute 20 on the clock, 4-4. CTs have got kits, but they've left B completely open. Bit of a gamble here. Flash towards quad potentially. Amanek will be the one to provide it. It'll be Shoxy who's going for the frags here. If he does it now, there's like 3 kills available for him. Good shot from Kenny S. Bomb down.
Down,
oh,
but
blind.
not out. They've got to deal with Kenny, and it is completely recoverable. They've taken over quad, but they weren't expecting him to peek so soon. With the AWP, now they'll smoke it off, but they're not ready for Amanek to be anchoring inside of the pit. Now things starting to work for G2. The positions, the defaults, the duels falling into place as Rain, 1 versus 3 with 35 seconds, isolates the left side, attacks Dominic, but tagged up, and Kenny has the ult ready to go.
Strong round from Kenny S, that's for sure. G2 still in this now, need 8 rounds in a row. FaZe will have the option to take an eco here. They're all hovering around $2,000. Olofmeister a little bit more. He's currently got 22 frags. He's at the very top of the scoreboard. A little bit sloppy from Neo, the in-game leader, with the bomb, challenging an angle like that and gives it up. And it's one of the most common positions for Kenny S, and you definitely want to be flashing that, or at least smoking it something, instead of the dry peek with the bomb on your back. Slight issue, but doesn't affect the outcome of the game too much. I'm still confident FaZe will close this out early. G2 will take every round they can possibly get, though. If they can't win it, at least helps them build up some confidence, get some decent rounds in. Kenny S done the hit shot to the AWP. Certainly going to need him on Dust 2. This is pretty much the full eco here. Amanek trying to pounce on top of him. He's going to get a couple of frags. Not the cleanest, but he'll take it. Wants to fall back ideally here. Oh, Neo somehow snuck into the library. I don't think they have any idea. I don't think it'll be enough to win the round, but maybe he can get a knife kill in here. He's going to start walking in towards B. So if the teammates get ready at T steps, he could walk in, potentially kill both of these players towards the B area, and they could close it out now. It would take a perfect storm, because you can see there's a CT towards logs that kind of nullifies his efforts, and before he even gets that, that's disappointing from FaZe. They're not holding up super tight, because Neo really could have done something with this. You can see him checking things out.
Oh my. MP9 though, he doesn't have the range, but he lines it up so the bullets penetrate through either way. Unfortunately, with 31 seconds and the bomb down, he still has a large task in front of him. And they're just going to spray in. That actually puts him on 33. And he doesn't dare fire back because the tracers reveal. And little does he know, they've also got Kenny waiting on the other side.
Yeah, if you're the in-game leader especially, I would assume Neo would be saying, don't die, I've got this. They've somehow got into a CD spawn. They have no idea. If he gets those 2 kills, everyone's still alive. They'd probably win that round, but they challenged a little bit too much at the bottom. Nice idea from Neo, but still doesn't affect things too much. We'll see as we get into round number 24, 15-8 now. Match paused. Chance to bring Yanko in. Work out what the procedure is going to be here in the next round. How can they close this out? They've run nothing really but default so far. That's been fine to get them to round 15, but it seems like they're dropping off somewhat. G2 starting to establish themselves, looking much better as time goes on. It's a little too late on this map, I would say, but as I mentioned, just getting yourselves warmed up and shaking off the nerves. If you at least make the scoreline respectable towards the end, you'll be in a much better mindset going into that next map as the timeout comes to an end. Here we go then, Olofmeister purchases up last. He gets the AK. No orbs on the T side. Kenny S will still have his. He's starting to look sharp. Double apartment setup here with Kenny S and Boiler.
Amanek is getting aggressive. They've been playing this to perfection on the G2 side. Getting map control, holding down duels, but sometimes taking a chance can be what costs you when you're 1 round away from defeat. Traded back. Rain was able to spray it through the wall. They're lucky not to lose both. They'll fall back in a 1-1 trade, but that still favors the offense, so Shox needs a reaction. He's pushed out, flashed in, gets behind the sandbags at Banana, and Nico was not expecting it. Yeah, now they don't need to be there. They can actually back off this.
Let's see, this is going to be enough. Nico on the boost spot, unable to trade off anyone. He goes down cleanly. 3 players to commit towards B, but the incendiary will slow them down, that's for sure. Might as well commit now. It's not looking good for them. Lucky is snuck through, trying to use the smokes to his advantage. He'll sit inside them, and he will be found. Shoxy now needs at least 1 frag here. If he doesn't get it, this could actually all fall apart. 1 player snuck towards CT spawn. Oh, what a shot that is from Rain. This could be closed out right here, right now.
Absolutely could be. Kenny, he's trying to work his way back in toward the ruins. AWP pre-scope, doesn't want to make the noise, but he's quick switched off it because he needs to clear the closer angles, and Neo is ready with the AK. Bomb finally goes down. And Kenny walks out. Shoulder shows, couldn't find the shot fast enough. All onto Jax, who's only arriving at the bottom side of Banana now. 3 players in wait, and they've already cleared out toward Ruins. They've pushed the back side of the entry door, which means now Jack's making noise. They know exactly where he is. Good shot on Rain. Remember, the Guardian is low. He doesn't need to peek. They won't. They'll allow Jax to get closer. They'll buy more time, and he's got to pick up the pace. He has a kit, but even that's not going to be enough. Guardian down. Does he try and hold it? He almost should have. Neo's too close. There's nothing. Oh, he can do it, but I don't think he's got the time. He doesn't. It's gone. FaZe out of the round.
Decent effort there from Jax. My heart bleeds for him. He gave it absolutely everything there at the end, but it wasn't quite enough. Fantastic showing from FaZe. It took a Shoxy 1 versus 3 for them to even make a dent in the first half. They only got 5 rounds in total and then really couldn't get going on their second half until map point was found. But still, like I said, Matt, the fact they started having some promising rounds is better than nothing. Kenny is starting to get warmed up. At least bodes well for Dust 2 going forward.
Yeah, it absolutely does. That's key, because the off is certainly going to be part of it. Shox needs to start hitting those shots more consistently, but you've got Guardian that's looking pretty good. You've got Nico that's freed up again now, and as you say, they bring some execution, so it's not an easy map. Dust 2 is fairly level for most teams.
Yeah, I think so, and I just want to shout out Olaf Meister there. That's going to be one of the best performances I've seen from him in quite some time. That was absolutely epic. Hopefully he can keep it up and start putting on more of a show than that. And yeah, it seems like G2 started to get the things together towards the end of that map. Dust 2 up next, maybe Nuke for a third, but for now we'll take a break and be back very shortly.